Rotate device. Crap. I hate when it does that. A bit more. Okay. Well, what did he, Millie? Dad, come. Rotate device. Okay. That's about as good as we're gonna get. Got my water. I got my radio. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna just start talking and see how long I can hang on. What was that? Why is it doing that? No, you can't do that. There we go. So first off, I'm going to explain why I'm so late getting on. I had said 7:30-ish, and I intended to, and I could have done that, but things happened. As Forrest Gump said, it happens. Okay, so my son texted me yesterday and told me that a friend had passed away. And I said, look, I need to go to the service. And they asked him if they were going to be going. He said yes, so they drove. And it was kind of a nice day. It was a mess in a lot of ways, but you know, Father's timing worked out, and I just got back home just a little while ago, so I'm tired. I'm beat. I was beat before we left because last night I didn't sleep well because of this service I was looking forward to going to. So anyway, okay, recap. I'm doing this tonight for 3 reasons. Because I said I was going to. Number 2, because it doesn't take phone memory. And 3, there's another one, because I want to talk about today. Yeah, so which I started doing. Okay. So this man's name was Joseph Bennett, and he was so key in several points in my life in the last several years, going back to about 2009. Yeah, 2009. Now understand, I'm just going to go, this is a part of my saga, my history, my family, my life story, my OzArk Plateau saga, you know. So I'm going to recap it as best I can without getting into too much detail, if at all possible, for me, and because I'm not going to last very long. I'm tired. So about 2008, I went to the first, as I recall, the first Well-Fed Neighbor Alliance meeting that I went to. Now, the motto of the Well-Fed Neighbor Alliance is "No neighbor left behind." No, it's the best defense in hard times is a well-fed neighbor. Now, if that means that you're the one doing the gardening and raising the cattle and stuff, and you're feeding your neighbors, they might just be your best defense, your best friends, you know. And or if you teach them, or if they know how to grow food and they're well fed, they're not going to come knocking on your door for food. So basically, either way you look at it, whether they're going to help defend you or you're not going to have to worry about them knocking on your door with a gun, demanding food, then you know you're good. The best defense in hard times is a well-fed neighbor. Now, that's actually been happening around the Ozark Plateau. Down in Arkansas, a fairly wealthy man was buying trees and helping people plant gardens. And usually a guy with a tractor will go out and, you know, rototill people's gardens for them. There's a guy over about an hour away from here. He does about 35 gardens every spring because he's got a good tractor, Kubota. So I could just pass out here and skip the whole thing. The best defense in hard times is a well-fed neighbor. Now, I've extended that. The best defense in hard times is a warm well-fed neighbor. In other words, help people have firewood. Now, over the course of the last several years, Bill here has been getting into people's heads that you need more wood than you had. You know, one friend down the road, about 3 miles down the road, first 2 winters kind of rough, hit and miss, and so she's all stocked up now. Now this year it's another gal, another friend we're helping. He's help them get stocked up and get into their head that you got to have enough wood for this winter and probably next winter too. It'd be nice. Now in Wisconsin, where it's cold, if they're down to they know how many cords of wood they burn. They know exactly how many cords. Here it's like we're all flying by the seat of our pants. It was like the first winter here was pretty hard because we didn't have any wood ready. But my son had his property clear cut, and a guy was in there. He let this guy come in just to process the wood for firewood and sell it, for free. He didn't ask him for anything. So there's a big pile of wood there, and we were able to, get some off of that if we needed it. That was part of the deal. So we did okay that first winter. Second winter, better. We built the woodshed. About the fifth year in, about 2011 or 12, we finally built the woodshed, and that's pretty much full of wood, almost full of wood. And and I've got about 4 cords here on my place. So the best defense in hard times is a warm and well-fed neighbor, and a neighbor that has the ability to have his own water. That's important. Well, nobody's addressing that. I'm willing to do filters for people. You can go out to the pond and filter the water. That's what they did. That's why the British brickfield was designed by Dalton. To go out to the Thames River in London with dead bodies and rats and sewage in it. Poop sewage, and scoop up water and pour it into this filter and drink it. That's what he made it for. They're much better now than they were then. Much more higher tech. Okay, so moving along. The best defense in hard times is neighbors that have food, have shelter, have heat, and have water. Okay, and if you have all that, we don't need any outside help. We don't need help from the county. We don't need help from the state. We don't need help from the feds. We need enough people in an area that have everything they need to stay alive without asking for or actually being able to refuse help. No, we don't need your help. Thank you very much. You see that in Lights Out. The county that they were in, where Mark Turner and his friends were in Silver Hills, they came down to the feds were going to come in. FEMA was going to come in, and they said, nope. The sheriff said, we don't need your help. Just go find another county to help. We don't need your help, especially that kind of help. We don't need that kind of help. That's where we need to be, and there need to be a lot of people to be able to say that, to be able to do that. It's not going to be a Johnny Rambo, Lone Wolf McQuaid, type of operation. You have to have enough people, and I'll address that some other time. I'm not going to go into that now. Don't even get me started on it. Okay, so anyway, Joseph Bennett passed away 22nd. And the celebration of life, like a memorial service, was today. And this man was very, very visionary. He was a leader. He was a great man. I knew he was. I didn't know how great he was. I didn't know what kind of man he was because I met him a few times. But I got to tell you, the first time I met him was in 2000. It would have been 2009. Yeah, because of the Gateway Farm. The well-fed neighbor Gateway Farm, Ruled Chapel's farm. Ruled Chapel was the co-founder, and there are a lot of people that are considered founders. I was a co-founder of the Well-Fed Neighbor Alliance. We met every week, every Monday in Springfield. Every week I'd drive in there, and we'd have these big meetings and plan things and develop ideas, and had the 1,000 Garden Project, which became the 10,000 Garden Project. That was for Springfield. Then we set up the 10,000 Garden Project for Missouri, and then the Million Garden Project for the United States, so which should have been 30 million because there's 3,000. Like I said the other day, there's 3,000 counties, and every county should have had 1,000 new gardens. So it should have been 1,000 times 3,000, whatever that comes out to, 30 million, 300 million, something like that. Gardens, okay. But anyway, you get the idea. We had a big vision. Got a lot of things done. A lot of things done. In fact, Galen was able to get every single person that was part of that founding operation out of Springfield, out of the city of Springfield, and onto farms, except for one person. And I managed to, through the weird set of circumstances, including my divorce, I was able to get that last single mom out of Springfield and out onto a farm. in Wheatland, Missouri. So that involved sea salt, $600, $12 million. That's where Joseph Bennett comes in. So but let's get back to Joseph Bennett, because that's a big part of what's going on here. I don't know why he died when he did. I don't know what he died of. I don't know. I didn't hear anything. I just knew that he was in the hospital, and wherever he was, they were singing praises and singing hymns and praises to God as he passed away. He was a very spiritual man, very godly man, very powerful man, very, very holy man. So, very productive man. I kind of, all these years, I kind of assumed that because he was a visionary, I kind of felt sorry for his wife, and family, because he probably wasn't doing much. I mean, because like me, I'm visionary, but I mean, I've gotten 3 semi-loads of sea salts in the county, stuff like that, but I don't have a lot to show for what I've done, other than people that around the country and around the world that you know consider me very highly. And that's where I come into this play with Joseph Bennett. Okay, so whatever the date was, probably June or April. I remember it was a hot day, and it rained hard that day, and I walked up to one guy. By this time, I had gotten into my head that there was going to be a lot of refugees coming in here to the Ozark Plateau. And so I walked up to a farmer who moved here from Washington, the state of Washington. I think he's a custom harvester in Washington. He came out here. He'd always wanted to be a farmer. No, that was a different guy. Okay, whatever. He'd always wanted to be a farmer, so he came out to Missouri and he bought a farm. And then he decided, what kind of farmer am I going to be? And he said, well, he knew that raw milk would be the first issue that the feds would come after farmers on, so he became a milk farmer specifically so that he would be there in the front of the battle, on that. And one time they issued him an edict saying he was not allowed to deliver his milk anymore in Christian County. So he put out an announcement. He said, we're going to be delivering your milk on the court steps in Christian County. So, quite the guy. Anyway, I walked up to him and I said, hey, I believe there's going to be about 3 million. Now, I've upped this to 30 to 40 million, about 10 times more. I said, I believe there's going to be about 3 million refugees coming in here. And his eyes lit up and fire in his eyes. And he said, do you have any idea how soon starvation sets in? And I was like, whoa. Now, he's changed a lot since then, and he's come around, and he's learned a lot. So he's not quite that way anymore. But he was a good friend for a while until the kangaroo court thing. Anyway, Inquisition. Okay, I gotta get some water. Sorry. Hang on. Wait, don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me. Okay, so I said that to him, and do you have any idea how soon starvation sets in? And his eyes were lit up. He was very vehement, very irate. So I literally about 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes later, I meet Joseph Bennett. And Joseph is dressed up like a sheriff. He's got a big Stetson hat on. He's got a gun belt. He's got a, big shiny, probably Ruger, I don't know, Smith & Wesson, big revolver on his hip. And he's got a sheriff's badge. And the sheriff's badge says Guardener. Guardener. 1 Samuel 23:17, I think it is. Look it up. But it's where Israel was invaded and the Philistines, and all Israel fled, quote unquote. But Shema took his stand in the lentil patch and defended the garden, defended the food. And he slew like 1,000 Philistines or something like that. So the point is that this man was a godly man. He was a spiritual man. He believed in God. And he was not going to allow the food to be destroyed. So he took his stand in the garden. So Guard, a prison guard, a gardener. So, and that's not a rewind. That's a bunny trail. Bunny trail. I got to do a bunny trail. Otherwise, this will not make any sense. So I got to rewind. That picnic was on Saturday. I've been working for a man. You can look it up, tuningelement.com. I considered him my partner. We were partners. We started a business, and I came up with the name of it. I came up with the icon, the brand. I had the technology. It was like 100% my work, my life work invested in this, my knowledge and everything else. And he hired me, quote unquote, for my science. Because once upon a time, my son was bragging about how much money he made. He was worth $50 an hour, and I wasn't worth much. And I said, well, if you're worth $50 an hour, I am worth $200 an hour. And before long, and I had told him and my wife, who were always berating me for being a bum, for being a worthless person. And I said, well, someday somebody's going to pay me to do their thinking for them. So this guy, Sean Martinez, came out to visit, I was sitting on the couch, he stood before me, and he said, I got sales, business I understand, I know marketing. He said, I need the knowledge, I need someone to do my research. And so he, quote unquote, hired me to do that. And for about 5 years, I was paid about $200 an hour to do that. The equivalent of it, because I spent so little time doing it. I mean, I was still doing it, allowed me to do all the research I needed to do. So, but I calculate, I probably did about 5% of my time was spent doing things for him. So it worked out to about $200 an hour. Okay, so time for water. Don't interrupt me. Still on, yeah. All right, so at one point it was a Wednesday. We'd had a meeting or something, and he encouraged my wife and I to watch a movie. The movie was about a businessman, who had two children who had a really rare disease. They were both quadriplegics. They were in little wheelchairs, and they had to, run the thing with their mouth, the control thing. And the dad was played by Brendan Fraser. And then there was an eccentric scientist, a research guy, professor in the University of Nebraska, of all places. I kid you not. This is a true story. This is a true story. Look it up. And I can't remember the name of it. Like, not Risky Business, but something like that. But the eccentric scientist was played by Harrison Ford, and he did a wonderful job. So this Brendan Fraser hooks up with him. He walks out of a business meeting one day, just walks out of the meeting, and he's going to get fired if he keeps that kind of stuff up. So he walks out of the meeting to go track down Harrison Ford, and he finds him. And he gets back home, and he says, I found him. And the wife's going, you're going to get fired doing this kind of stupid stuff. She said, what are you doing? He says, I made a deal with him. And she says, what'd you agree to? What'd you come up with? He said, 500. She goes, $500? He goes, no, $500,000. She goes, we don't have that kind of money. We have to get it. We have to come up with it. Because he had talked to Harrison Ford, and the guy said, yeah, how much would it take to get this going? It would take $10 million just to barely get the ball rolling, get a drug to help your kids. And it worked out. It did happen. True story. But $500,000 was, he made a deal with him to get him $500,000 as a seed, as a down payment, and $10 million was to basically make it happen, to get the research and the tests and everything going. Because, testing, FDA testing and all that, lab testing. I didn't say, this partner told us to watch the movie, so it was our anniversary. It would have been 2000, what did I say? 9. Yeah, 2000, would have been 2009, June 2009. So Friday, we went out for dinner. We drove an hour into Clinton, Missouri, to go to a Mexican restaurant. And afterwards, we went to the movie theater to see if there was a movie we wanted to watch. Nothing. So we go to Redbox and get a movie. We saw the movie. Business venture, something like that. I don't remember. I'll look it up. And so we watched the movie. We brought it home and watched it on Friday night. We watched this movie. I was blown away by the fact that this father risked everything he had to try to keep his two kids alive, because they were going to die, no question. and he loved him and he wanted to keep him alive. Shut up, Jerry. So we watched this movie, $500,000 down payment, $10 million to get it going. So the next morning, poof, I'm at this picnic at the Gateway Farms for the Well-Fed Neighbor Alliance. Best defense in hard times is a well-fed neighbor. In order to have a well-fed neighbor, you got to have food, right? Yep. And if you're gonna have food, you can't have food if you're gonna have the powers that be take it away from you. So you need to have a way to defend the food. So you have to have a gardener, a Guardener. So Joseph Bennett says, well, my mission is to reestablish the State Guard of Missouri, which is a legal thing, not the National Guard, but the State Guard, under the governor command and control, not the president, not military. And that involved communications. And he said that my initial goal is $500,000, but my overall goal is to come up with $10 million. Oh my gosh, I was floored. I was just stunned at the majesty, the scope of that vision, So I don't know whatever happened with it, because over the years he had a lot of financial ideas and gold mining and this and that, and ventures to raise capital to do this. And I never really saw anything come of it. So I did what I could. I took part in the ones I could. But so I kind of felt for his family. This guy is so visionary. He probably can't do anything real. Well, he did. He was a very, very down to earth man. In addition to being very visionary. So those men are very rare. The guy that brought us to Missouri, Kent Andre, was a visionary and a practical man. He was a welder. He could work all day long welding, and then go out and do other things. He wrote a book, a huge book, Zion and the Law of Christ, and it's highly well thought of book, a very scholarly book. Okay, so anyway, so Joseph Bennett, he says this, $500,000, $10 million. So it was confirmatory to me of the scope of my vision, which was to, see the OzArk Plateau developed as a safe haven, as a food production capital. Now, Galen Chadwick, on January 3rd, 2009, he had put together a huge meeting in the top suite, penthouse suite, whatever, of the Hammond Towers in downtown Springfield. And he did there's a lot of good speakers there about electric cars and forestry and this and that. I mean, it was a massively awesome, huge, huge venue. But Galen he called it his white paper. Everybody called it the Golden Age of Missouri paper. He read it, and he said professors would come to him and give him information and say, do not let anybody know where you got this from, because if you do, I could get killed or fired, okay? I could get trashed from my position. I could get run out of town on a rail, tarred and feathered. So anyway, so this paper basically said that in the Golden Age of Missouri, 1800, late 1800s, early 1900s, farmers were wealthy. Missouri shipped wheat and apples and tomatoes. I mean, hundreds of varieties of apples, hundreds of varieties of tomatoes all over the country. Railed them out on railroad cars to the East Coast, to the Rockies, to Canada, to Mexico. One tiny little county, Stone County, which is where Branson is, little teeny county, exported 10,000 tons of wheat. Okay, so anyway, point being is that this guy is visionary, and it's just very. I wanted to be there so I'm sitting there, and it was one thing and another. It's very hard for me to sit through the service because I was completely exhausted by being up most of the night in anticipation of this. So I was very weak, very tired. Could hardly walk around. My youngest son helped me walk. I usually use my cane. I put my arm on his shoulder and leaned on him, literally leaned on him. Thank heavens he's a little bit shorter than me. So he helped me walk in and helped me walk out, And then my other son walked me up to the trailer here. So, I mean, I'm beyond. I had to do some breathing just to stabilize my heart, felt like. So it was touch and go. It was pretty iffy. I didn't want to have another incident there and have somebody pass on to glory while everybody else was there. Anyway, I was just thinking, I have to wait if I get to heaven, if I get there, to have any kind of celebration like that, because there won't be anything down here for me. Nobody will give a rip. So it can be, there were like 10 or 15 big bouquets of flowers, and it was pretty impressive. I mean, he had a lot of people that knew him and believed in him. Me, I'll just dig a hole in the ground and throw him in there. That's the truth of it, and I'm not complaining at all. There's a family in Spain that would be here if they could, and there's a family in Russia that would be there if they could, but they won't find out about it until decades and weeks after it happens. So whatever. So no big deal. I'm content with that, and I'm content to be homeless until the second coming, until the Lord comes back. Because what's the point? I'm trying to help people not be homeless. So I've done some playlists. I'm going to send out links. I'll put them in the description box. I've got 3 or 4 playlists on mushrooms, grow bags. A lot. There's so many things are tying together. I'm seeing so much capability, so much possibility, so much wealth. Capable of producing and food production and homes and whatever with bamboo and whatnot. That'll help a lot with construction materials. So anyway, I'm not going to belabor that because I'm about tired. My voice is done. I'm going to go ahead and see what anybody said and say hi and bye, and then we'll call it good for the night. So half an hour. That's about my opening monologue. Half an hour monologue. It's usually about 5 minutes when I run out of steam and I'm ready to see if anybody else is saying anything. So we'll say hi to everybody, then goodbye to everybody. Good night, John Boy. Grant Harper, are you talking about Josh? No. Joseph Bennett, if that's what you... Why does it have to do that? Okay, come on. Why can't I just stay up? Sorry for the loss. No problem. I mean, it was not a big loss to me. I would have been... would have been nice if he's still around and handed me my $12 million, but, it didn't happen, so. Guardener Josh. Okay, so anyway. Yeah, not too much going on, so. Well, this will be up, people can watch it, listen to it, so I wanted to just do my perspective tribute to this man. And I can tie in, if my voice holds out, I'll go ahead and tell another part of my saga, if I can even begin to do that, because it's quite a bit more complicated than this one. Let me just say this. Many years ago, I don't know when it was, could have been 2005, 6, 7, somewhere around in there. A friend of mine and we were talking, and this brother said, Jerry, you and I both know that it will take about $12 million to even get started to do what we both know needs to be done. And I was like, yeah, you're right. True. I agreed. And he said, well, let's make a deal. He said, if Father gives you $12 million, give me 6 of it. And if he gives me $12 million first, I'll give you 6 of it. So we literally shook hands. We made a deal. We made a deal. So $10 to $12 million, like Joseph was talking about, it's a drop in the bucket. And I've had somebody say to me, oh, okay, let me finish that. Yeah. I've had one person say to me, when you met me, your ship came in. And when I said, well, I've been needing $12 million, oh, no big deal. No big deal. Cool. So anyway, Friday we watched the movie. My business partner says, watch this movie. I think it was a Wednesday. May have been Thursday. I don't know. We get the movie on our anniversary date. So this would have been June 17th-ish, 16th, 17th. 17th, probably. See if that's a Friday. There was a Friday we went and had dinner, got the movie, and went home and watched it that night, Friday night. Saturday, I meet Joseph Bennett. Okay, so, and Joseph talking about all these investments and raising $10 million and whatever. So Monday morning, I'm not hardly awake, and the phone rings, and this guy says, I'm Joe, da-da-da-da-da, and starts talking about making all kinds of money, and, and one of the first things he said to me was this. He said, how did he phrase it? I'll say this is word for word. He said, "I believe that you are an authority over me." I was like, okay. So that was interesting. And we talked, and he said, "Well, is there some amount of money that you think you need to do what you needs to be done?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "How much?" I said, $18 million, because I wanted to be able to give Mike six, me have six, and I'd already made a deal with people to give $6 million, 1 million to six other people. I'd actually asked them for budget. What would you do with $1 million if I gave you $1 million? And three of them responded with the budget, and I have those record on my email who did, and three of them didn't. I don't remember the ones that didn't, but I do remember the ones that did. So anyway, two of them for sure. Anyway, the same thing I do. Fix up the house, get a vehicle, blah blah blah. And the rest would be for medical, communication. Health. Food production, greenhouses, shelter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So pretty similar. All of them were, all the ones that responded, it was about $50,000 to beef up the local farm refuge that they had, and then the rest would be going into this, and this. Very, very similar. Okay, so so the phone rings, the guy's talking about it. I heard him say Joe. Well, first time I met Joseph Bennett was just one time, on Saturday. It's just a few minutes, really. Wasn't very long. Rewind. Okay, stupid me. I'm sorry. I had just said to this guy, 3 million people are going to show up, and he said, "Do you have any idea how soon starvation sets in?" Very irate. When I said it to Joseph Bennett, he just shrugged his shoulders and pointed down. He put palms on this, and he pointed down. And he goes, "Well, yeah, no problem." He said, "Every broadleaf plant is food. It's edible. You can juice it, drink it, masticate it, chomp it, make something out of it. Steam it, cook it. Dehydrate it, whatever. We can eat it." He said, "Starvation not an issue, not at all." And here's the thing: is I told Galen Chadwick, the guy that founded the Welfare Neighborhood Alliance, all the time. I said, my family's vegetarian now, and he goes, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He was all excited because he's probably vegan. I don't know, but he was all excited. And I said, "Yeah, we got these really expensive juicers, and we juice the grass, and then we convert it into food." He goes, "What?" I said, "They're called cattle. They juice the grass, they eat it, and turn it into meat, beef. It's what's for dinner." And he went, "Oh." I had him going there for a minute. That was pretty funny. So yeah, we recycle grass. We recycle it, and we eat the beef. So but at that time, I had already had the idea firmly locked into my head that there's going to be a lot of refugees coming in here at some point in time in the future. Now, on one of these streams, one guy said that when Father is dealing with men, in the prophetic realm, he's dealing about a generation ahead of time. Okay, well, that sure counts for me. 1980 was when I started all this. So, you figure 40 years, 2022, here we are. We're coming down to brass tacks now. Okay, so, and I said, "Look, get a mower." I actually bought a push, old-fashioned, real push mower. Where you can just mow your grass and just plant wheat. Imagine a golf course planted in wheat. You just mow it every day. You juice it and drink it. You'd be healed of everything in the world. Ann Wigmore has lots of books on that. There's a lot of things on growing wheatgrass. Why grow it in a shelf in a greenhouse when you can grow it in the ground? Just trim it, mow it and juice it. Drink the juice. So, okay, so anyway, Joseph Bennett, yeah. So Joseph, that was very encouraging to me because I had this thing in my head about 3 million people, which is now 30 to 40 million people that I believe will come in here. And he's like, "No big deal. Yeah, we can feed him." So that was very encouraging. That it was just I really felt like he was like an angelic messenger, like angel. Angelos in Greek means messenger. That's what angel means, messenger. They bring messages. I brought you greetings from, the Most High, Mary, Gabriel, Michael, with Daniel, the archangel. They're messengers, and so Joseph Bennett was like a messenger to me on that day especially. So go back to Monday. This phone rings. This guy named Joe is going on and on with me, and he's like, "Oh, how much money do you think you need?" 18 million. Do you believe you're going to get it? I said, I have to, otherwise a lot of people are going to die. And he says, well, you're going to get it. You're going to get it. Cool. Sounds good. Any day now would be really fine. Like the rich people that told me they would give me the money, work with. Anyway, so then coming down, I said, one thing I said to him was, I said, look, this is so beyond me. So I'm so non-qualified for this. What I feel is what I've been given to do. I said I would be perfectly happy if someone would come along who was better qualified, more intelligent, had more money, and had better able to do more organizational skills, And I said I'd be happy just to serve them and just take this, because at that point in time, this was a burden that was like killing me. I mean, I felt it was killing me literally, and it's not been good for my health over the years. But anyway, he said no. He says Moses tried that. He said you've been given something to do by God, just do it. So again, this guy named Joe was a messenger. So then, and he's going on, and he says, all these business deals, and if he makes this, he's going to make millions of dollars, and you come and give me the money, Cool, okay. And then, trying to get the sequence down here so I get it all right. Well, then one of the last things he said to me was this. He said, well, let me ask you this. He said, when you were a little kid, did you ever have the feeling that you would be used by God to save the entire world? And I said, as a matter of fact, I did. He goes, well, see, there you go. You've been given a job to do it. So then I said, now you live in Springfield, right? Somewhere around Springfield? Because I thought I was talking to Joseph Bennett. No, I live in Texas. I'm like, what the heck? What's your name? And it was Joe David Butler. And I was like, oh my gosh, so you're not Joseph Bennett, right? No, not Joseph Bennett. Totally different Joseph. But Joseph is a man in the Bible who did what? He saved up money. He saved up food, which became wealth. He traded the money for food. You want food? Here, give me your money. You want food? Here, give me your money. And he took a lot of people's money in exchange for food to keep them alive. And in the course of doing that, he saved his own father, his entire house, all of his brothers and sisters also. They all stayed alive because of his foresight, his provision, his visioning for other people. His vision, literally vision. He'd have visions, dream vision. And God was dealing about 14 years ahead of time. He set everything in place to put Joseph there, got him, arrested and thrown in jail because of Potiphar's wife. Anyway, so many Josephs are called of God to produce and to be visionaries. And I know another one, Joseph Zitting, is an awesome visionary. Again, food production and, way ahead of his time. Okay, so Joseph and then Joe David Butler. So, $18 million, $12 million, $10 million. 18, 12, 10, 12, and $18 million. So now Joseph is gone. He's not going to help me do that anymore. It's over. So, Father's going to do it one way or another. Different timeline, different alternate universe, whatever you want to call it. It's going to happen, I think, somehow. Wake up and, oh, I'm in a different timeline now. Cool. I didn't like that one I was in much anyway. I had figured that people would start listening to me way before now. That's why I want to start a new work. I want just 12 people. 12 people, that's it. Like I said, I have one man, one woman I'm considering right now, hoping that will work out to get here. So, All right, I'm going to go back to the comments and see if anybody has said anything. Oh, come on. Let me get me some rubber bands. Yeah, greenhouse is very good for that, definitely. Guardener says, in the greenhouse, you can better reduce the infiltration of weeds and critters. Yeah, but you put a chicken moat around it. A chicken moat is a chicken run where, like 3 foot wide, about 1.5 foot high, where the chickens can run through there, chicken wire all around it. So you put that around your garden, and they have free run of it, and they get all the bugs that are heading toward the garden. They kill them all. Pretty much, not all of them, but a lot of them. So that's pretty cool. It's called the chicken moat. Michael Allen. Hi, Michael. See you tomorrow night. You can listen to it. I may or may not stream tomorrow night. I think I'm going to be really tired tomorrow night. Do some shopping. This is Hermit Hill, Kentucky. Huh. You're going to be here for a few minutes, but sorry about your loss. Sending love and prayers. Thank you, Mrs. Hermit. Hermit Hill. I like that. Hermit Hill. That's pretty cute. I like it. I like the name. Is that your YouTube channel? I'll look it up. I'll say this again, everybody. You can go to this tomorrow. Go to my channel and look up my videos and watch this tomorrow. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be on live. You can watch it tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. Or go back and catch the ones that you missed over the course of whatever. It says 9 people. No, 8 people now. I'm gonna count them up here. I'm gonna start saying good night to everybody because I'm tired. Michael, good night. Gaddy Anton, good night. Ray, good night, that's 3. William Gray, good night, that's 4. Grant Harper, 5. Good night, Grant. And Mrs. Hermit Hill, good night, Mrs. Hermit Hill. That's only about 5. Those other people on there that haven't said anything or chimed in. Anybody out there that wants to say hi? We're going to call this good for now, unless somebody asks a question. Kind of the weird thing is I was sitting there after the service, memorial service, and just looking around. I mean, there's how many people were there? I would say 300 easily. And I didn't see anybody I recognized. Sat there and I go like, Father, there ought to be somebody here that I recognize, somebody I know. And this guy comes walking up and introduces himself to me. I didn't recognize him. Wouldn't recognize him from anybody. I recognize the name, barely. And my ex-wife is working for him, so pretty interesting. And the person that introduced my ex-wife to them to get the job was part of the $600, $12 million saga. So pretty interesting. I don't know. I see things coming around and just going around and around. Just connecting that they. How the Father's working all this out, I don't know. I'm not going to even try to figure it out, but it's just fascinating seeing the complexity of the whole thing. Joseph Bennett says he used the same 2 number amounts, 500,000 and $10 million that we just watched in a movie the night before. You can't make this stuff up, And then Monday morning, the phone rings and a guy named Joe is talking to me about making all kinds of money and helping me out and giving me the money and telling me to do my job and, come to find out it's not Joseph Bennett, it's some other Joe. Wow, just amazing. And the rich view out there said, when you met me, your ship came in. Yeah. You know how that works out for me. It don't. Not yet. All right, I'm going to say goodbye. No more questions. Rachel, well, good night, Eric. How you doing? You have to if you came in late, if anybody came in late, just go ahead and go to my channel and listen to it. I knew that's what you meant, Michael. Yeah, I'm just saying for everybody, for Ray, go ahead and plug in and listen to it when it loads up tomorrow. Um, Other than that, I'm saying good night. So good night, all. God bless everybody. I can't wait to meet some of you, and I hope I do. Ray, hope to meet you someday. Michael Bennett. William Gray, oh my gosh. Love to see you. Now I want to say goodbye to Grant Harper. I think it's the first time you've chimed in. I'm not sure. If I can, I'll look at your channel if it shows up on the regular. And if you go to this video when it uploads tomorrow and make a comment there, then I can look at your channel. And I usually, if anybody has anything positive, or if they're positive or kind people, I'll subscribe to their channel just because I want to keep up with everybody, as many people as possible. So okay, and Mrs. Hermit Hill. Good night, Mrs. Hermit Hill. That's cute. Hope everybody. Oh, she knows to be able to go back and look at it tomorrow. So, other than that, I am done for the night, people. Good night, good night, good night. Love you all. Maybe this spring, yeah. Awesome. Angela Nadu, Nado, Nadu, Nadu to you and you and you. We're all in the same boat. Jeremiah Shine. Hi, Jeremiah. Angela. Good evening, Angela. Good evening, brothers and sisters, Angela says. So, good evening, Angela. Good to have you back. And like I said, if you make a comment on a video in the regular comments, then I can click on your icon and go to your channel and subscribe to you. And hopefully some of you are actually doing videos. Very few people do, but oh well. Good night, Ben Bob. Good night, Ben Bob. Tim Q. Hey, Tim. How you doing? Now, here's a guy that's doing something. Oh, my gosh. He and his wife are building a cabin, and I mean a big one. I don't know what the dimensions are, about 40 by 60, if I'm not mistaken. Big old cabin. Raw milled lumber right out of the forest. Yeah, very phenomenal. He keeps me up with pictures of it. Beautiful place. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Mary Ellen. Yep. Good night, John Boys. Good night, Michael. Got to sign off. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, let's say good night. It's almost an hour, and that's good enough for me. My voice is gone. Hey, well, here's a new one. Mary Nigri. Good night, dear. Good night, Mary. Marie. I think it's Mary. If you go to my regular channel and when this video uploads or any of my videos and say hi in the regular comment section. Then I can go to your channel and look at and see if you've got videos and get to know you a little better. Look at I love looking at playlists, and they're good ones. If they have a good playlist, I'll just subscribe just for that because I love absorbing information. So if anybody wants to comment on my, make a comment on the regular, then this video, Angela, I need to make space for children and grandchildren. Oh my word, yes, we all do. Yes, that is the whole thing about. Oh my gosh, Terry Bell. Now people are finally coming in. What Terry Bell? Hello and good night. Hello, Terry Bell. Hallelujah. Cool. Nado. What's that? And though I'm looking at property before the spring. Good. Do I have another channel? Well, I'm talking about this channel. I'm talking about the how to get out of Babylon. I do have another channel of Flat Earth Homeland, but I don't do anything with it. I never upload videos. I haven't kept it up. I started that one because I absolutely believe. I mean, like, have not the tiniest shred of doubt in my mind that the OzArk Plateau is a gigantic safe haven. And I started studying flat Earth. Someone made the comment that maybe we should have a place where we can all gather to, and I'm like, well, yeah, there is a place, where people can think free and not be harassed, and so I started the YouTube channel to try to promote that idea in the flat Earth community that, yeah, there is a place you can go and believe in whatever you want to believe. So that's why I started that channel, but I don't keep it up. It's just too much work and hassle and stuff. So there's some good videos on it, some of my stuff. Okay, so I really enjoy the fellowship part of this, just getting and talking with you all. Yes, Flat Earth Homeland. That's the channel. I was watching a study with Stephen Pigeon. I'll look that up. If you put a comment on my link with it, put a comment on my video with the link, I can look at it. Listen to this song before bedtime. What song? Jeremiah Shine. Listen to this song before what song? Oh. Need to make space for children. Yeah, we need to build. We need to build a lot of shelter. Well, I am believing totally that there's going to be about somewhere between 3 to 30 million people coming in here, and it'll be hard if we don't do some changing. So and so you said, I think you'll enjoy the information. What does that mean? I'll hop and a skip from where the monkeys escaped. Okay. Talking about outbreak. Terry Bell, I'm not getting you there. The monkeys escaped. What monkeys? Hey, we're the monkeys. People say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. Talk about outbreak. Leave it coming. Pennsylvania, okay. Terry Bell, seriously. I'll leave it in the comments. Cool. This is really. I'll just, if you guys want to keep putting in, I'll just stay on here and we'll, we can fellowship for a while. But this information coming out here, that's cool. I wish somebody else could talk. I don't know how you do that. I could have, if I got on StreamYard, I could do an interview and have somebody else talking too. That would be wonderful. I need to check that out. StreamYard. I know I was on it with Mud Flood is Armageddon, Alan Hughes, whatever his name is. Smoke doper. Smoky dopey. Medicine man, whatever, shaman. Yeah, if we could get about 4 people together or 5, just a community effort where you. So I was looking at land with this one guy, and he's still wanting to come out here and do something. He was in California when I first met him. He's up in Washington, Anderson Island, but he can do underground houses. He's got shotcrete machine, spray foam, you name it, mixers, concrete mixers, all kinds of good equipment. Built 24-foot partially underground dome, mostly underground domes. But anyway, I said that to say this. Why did I say that? I don't know. I watched Mudflood too, yeah. Monkeys. Oh, come on. Oh, buying land. Okay, yeah. While we were doing stuff, he was looking at buying like 500 acres, and he found one that was $785 an acre. It was like big property. It was like 400 acres, pretty good size. It was over by St. Louis, but it was not. It was out in the woods. I mean, way out in the woods. But man, if we looked at one that was about 320 acres, so you can divide half of it, sell it off in little lots. The other half let's say there's 4 investors, 4 people come in with $50,000 or whatever. We could buy a lot bigger chunk of land because the bigger the land, the cheaper it gets. Like I said, this guy found one for $700 an acre. Pretty amazing. This was not that. This was about 2 years ago. Not gonna find that now, of course, but you can make a deal with somebody, owner finance. Somebody's got 50,000 acres, and they can send you They can sell you $5,000 for what they paid for it, or they don't have to kill you to sell it. So there's a lot of things that could work out. So okay, point being is get together with some people and buy a bigger chunk of land, and we also need to have a place, a landing place, you know, refugee camp, church camps and campgrounds would be good for that, and RV parks would be good for that kind of thing. So I'd like to see people transition to think about that, help plan for that. Okay. Funny thing, Davy Jones lived an hour from me in PA, and I didn't know that until after he died. Oh, wow. Yeah. Of course, you know what I'm talking about. I hope everybody knows who Davy Jones was. Hey, with the monkeys. Sorry. You said monkeys. I know that. I was just first thing came to mind was monkeys. Monkeys escaped. So are you saying some kind of laboratory the monkeys got out? Fort Detrick, Maryland. That's Maryland. Anyway, okay. Good night, folks. I'm just not going to belabor this any longer. We'll take it down to 60 minutes, and then that's it. I'm done. Dun 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 dun. Oh my, there's more. That one fellow sold 500 at 250. Yeah, you recall your bot? That must be what you're talking about. Yeah, what a character. Oh, I think it was the word camp. Yeah, you got that right. I hear you. I don't know. I go to a few days at a camp. It's called Camp Fairhaven. That's pretty cool. The new person, Simpler Times Homestead. Good night. Hey, Simpler Times. Hello. The guy with the locker. Locker. Yeah, what locker? I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. Camp. What's wrong with campground? I mean, concentration camp. Yeah, internment camp, refugee camp. Camping's fun. Come on, don't be a spoil sport. Davy Joe's locker. The guy with the locker. Okay, I got it. Jeez, you've got to explain things. Okay, I mean I'm fairly well read, but I wouldn't have picked up on that. The guy with the locker. You silly man. Davy Jones locker. Yeah. Simpler Times Homestead. Simpler Times. Go to my channel, and when the video on one of my videos, make a comment there, and then I can click on your channel, and if you have videos, I can look at them. I can subscribe, and I can look at your playlist and things. I'd love to do that. And if anybody has anything positive or they're doing anything at all, I just go ahead and subscribe to them. It's just a rule of thumb. I can't tell you the number of people that I was their first subscriber. Probably about 150 people. Timing mostly. Hope you feel better. Thank you, Marie. What crash are we talking about? Several versions of that story. One report said they were heading to Florida, another Missouri. Another pick of the crash at night, another in the day. Ridiculous. Who crashed? What are we talking about? I don't get it. I missed something there. Are you guys talking behind my back? I don't know what you're talking about. Is it a band that crashed? Well, I really appreciate the new people. Everybody say hi to Marie, Mari, Marie Nigri. Nigri, yeah. Terry Bell, hello, Terry Bell. Terry Bell's new. Simpler Times Homestead, I love that one. Oh my gosh, Simpler Times, yes. We're going to get back to that. There's no question we're going to get back to that because it's going to be just by default. If we don't want to take part in the New World Order and everything, we need to be able to live outside that system. That means living in our own homes that we built ourselves, growing our own food, and maintaining our own health. No question, no two ways about it. That has to happen, and it will. I really enjoy coming on here and finding new people, though. That's really cool. Uh, Mrs. Hermit Hill in Kentucky. Pretty cool. A lot of you guys are Tim's out there building himself a place. Ray Sova is. Gaddy Anton's local anyway. I know that. We're gonna get together one of these days, hopefully. Better get together. Don't make me come track you down. Jeremiah Shine, we're on the same boat. Oh, poor baby. Nado. The property before the spring. Terryville, Angela. Oh, Nado. I get it. Nado. Because I said Nado. Yeah, Nado. Yeah, I figured that. That's right. Like that guy, that grandpa that wrote the book, A Short History of Creation. 42-year atheist and started studying flat Earth and realized that what he was seeing with his own eyes was exactly what the Bible says, and he became a believer. Very cool. All right, well, I'm going to quit now. So good night. Good night. Stay tight. Be blessed. Be safe. All right. Who fell? I'd love to get about 3 archers. What do you want 3 archers for? I'll tell you what, we had a 4th of July meeting one time, and I had just gotten into air rifles. And I happened to have a cheap little not plastic, fiberglass bow, a little red kid bow, a little toy bow, and my son was about 5 years old at the time. And I'm here to tell you, I thought he would love the air rifles. He didn't even look at them. He was so fascinated by that bow. So about $2,000 later, we're all equipped, and he and his older sister were doing JOAD, Junior Olympic Archery Division, and I had recurve bows. I had a compound bow, several of them. I had a 2-piece takedown J.K. Chastain longbow. Very cool. Guy ripped me off, took it from me, stole it, whatever, basically. Anyway, yeah, what do you want archers for? Cherry Bill, good comment. I'm getting me skills. Been learning everything I can about living without much of anything. That's it. Prairie Acres, Jilly. She binge watched my videos on Lights Out. 3 days, she watched every 242, 250 videos in 3 days. That's crazy. She said they're building that homestead on broken shoelaces, a broken shoestring budget, quote unquote. So, yeah, get good at making do with nothing. You can do a lot of stuff with plastic bottles. I wish I could save every 2-liter bottle in the country because they got a million uses for them, and they're valuable. And I don't know how to get any of them. So many things we can do with those: grow plants, make weaponry. Every clear one is like they call it a 100-watt light bulb in a big indoor shed. They do this down in poor countries. They cut a hole in the roof, put the bottle in there, seal it, put water in it, cap the top. Boom, you got sunlight transmitted into the thing. It's like a 100-watt light bulb. They put out beautiful light. Okay, all right, I'm done. I'm not gonna fiddly far. Didn't hear about those. Were you in Pennsylvania? Terry Bell. Marie, do you want to tell Terry Bell where you are in PA? You can go to each other channels if you want, if you can find them. Well, I'm going to shut this down. Nobody else is going to say anything. So everybody say your good nights. Good night, Terry Bell. Good night, Marie. Marie. Nigri. Angela, good night, Angela. Good night, Getty Anton. Hi, Marie. Who said hi? Who said Mary was hi? Hi, Mary. Simpler Times Homestead. Good night, Simpler Times. Good night, Mrs. Hermit Hill. Good night, Mrs. Hermit Hill. Good night, Jeremiah Shine. Good night, Michael. Good night, Ray Shova. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, Billy Bob. No. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Tim Q. TQ. Good night, Michael Allen. Good night, William Gray. Good night, Grant Harper. And good night, Mrs. Hermit Hill. Okay.
Good night, everybody. Look at the crash in Danville, PA, and monkeys got away. They caught them. The lady that stopped went to the hospital a few days later with symptoms of who knows what. Oh, my word. Yuck. Now, you could say when that was. Was that real recently? So you're looking at an outbreak type thing with Dustin Hoffman. Yeah. Put them all down. Yeah. You believe that? Uh, Marie's in super northeast, Terry Bell. Jay Lawrence, hello, good night. We're just saying good nights here, so. Terry Bell night, sweet dreams, everyone. Yeah, you tell me the monkeys got out of the lab and flew an airplane and then crashed it because they weren't quite good enough to fly it. That's probably typical government story, right? Whatever they tell you, you're supposed to believe it. Don't worry. Good night, Mrs. Calabash. Good night, Miss Calabash. Who's Miss Calabash? I pronounce it like Mary. Okay. Okay, Mary. Thank you. Last Friday, they said came in that week from Africa heading into a lab in Missouri. Oh, great. We don't want monkeys in Missouri with who knows what kind of diseases. Keep them out of the heartland. Keep them out of the heartland. Good thing they crashed. Crash them all. Okay, Mary. Good night. Good night, Terry Bell. Good night, everybody. That's it. I'm done. Father, I just pray you bless everybody that's been on here and really enjoy the fellowship. A lot of us are closed in. A lot of people are closed in and don't have much way to get out and do anything. So we just, telephone's nice. We could do a conference call. Hey, that's something to do. I've got a conference line I set up. We can call in that way. That'd be nice. I'm going to suggest it next time. All right, good night. Try to get into StreamYard too and find out how to do that. Against law, they do whatever they want to do. When they test on humans, they do whatever they care. They don't. There's no law for these evil people. All right, folks. Good night. Love y'all. Need to look into StreamYard. I need to get that going so I can screen share and do interviews. And maybe do a conference call, where everybody calls in and everybody's got a phone. We can try that too. All right, good night. Bye bye. Pasta lasagna.